compared to the cast of Hollyoaks, Harriet, I'd look like a melted candle if I took my top off. So I'm not.
Richard!
Hi, Richard!
So good to see you.
Look at you, my mellow birds.
Richard, are you there on your own?
I actually have my. I don't know if you can see her now, but I'm currently in my shed, and there is Clemmy, my cockapoo, who turned 5.
Love her.
Girl.
And
She's a good girl.
Teddy.
That Teddy, I'm not even going to go near because that's actually a present from the film company that made the film Ted. And put it this way, Ted's got a little bit of a mouth on him. And I have 4 godsons. And when Sebastian was younger, he thought the teddy bear actually was saying, "Come here, Sebastian." It wasn't. I'll leave you to colour in the blank. But
How are you? Richard, how are you coping? What are you doing, darling? What are you doing to fill your time?
Well, very good question. And like everyone, and I've chatted to Sherrie about this, you sort of wake up and there are some mornings where you sort of, you wake up slightly heavy of chest, and some more than others, Harriet.
How dare you?
But you do feel, you get a little bit sort of angsty. Everyone does, and I know everyone's feeling it, that sort of collective feeling. So I go straight out to the park, and I go with Clemmy, who celebrated her 5th birthday. Will it be a week ago? Because it's the same. She's the same day as the Queen, April 21st. But I'm sure a lot of people who have pets now will find them even more so quite a lifeline. I think she's fantastic. She's been absolutely brilliant. And the weird thing was, I don't know whether you've noticed this. Anyone, of course, who's tuning in with pets, or whether you guys have noticed it, is that I've probably left her alone in the last 5-6 weeks about twice, so that I can go freely to the post office or go shopping. And when I've come back, it's like I've been away for 2 weeks, and she's actually not an angsty sort of dog, but I think our fluffy friends
got used to it.
Feel it. Yeah, absolutely.
And that'll be the problem, won't it, when the lockdown is over, when everybody goes back to work and the dogs go, what's going on here?
Well, I find the opposite. When I go out, my dogs are so relieved. They tried to lock the doors to stop me coming back again. Because they've had too much of me. They really have. They are so bored with me, because they do things during the day that I don't know about, and now I'm here, I can watch them.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I think it's because dogs obviously take their job very, very seriously. So if you move, they move with you. So she's always following me, traipsing upstairs, downstairs. Although she has learned just to sit in the middle of the sofa and wait for me to find the keys, because I'm always
smart girl.
Everything.
Smart
girl. Yes, she wised up to that very, very quickly.
Richard, I hear you have a secret hobby, or maybe not so secret.
I do. Okay, so you're in my man cave, which is, you can imagine, there's not one Black and Decker.
I never thought I'd hear you say that to me, darling.
Thank you, H. There's not one power tool in here at all. So I have busied myself with a little bit of
wow.
It's Lego.
Oh, brilliant!
No way.
Oh,
Richard, you would be
Richard,
have
you got the flowers? When I was a little girl, I used to love planting. They had little Lego things, and you could plant the little flowers in there.
There's actually a flower shop here.
Love them.
What is it? What's the scene?
What's the scene? Thank you, Harriet, was ever thus. Always knowingly on the boards. Let me set the scene for you, dear. So this is the greengrocers, which was actually given to me by a friend for my 40th, which was well over 10 years ago.
No, yesterday.
Yesterday.
Tomorrow.
Lose it in the edit. That's the greengrocers. There's a cafe here. There's a baker's here. I don't know if you can see in the window. There's actually a wedding cake.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God. I love it. And you've done all that.
The detail's amazing. I mean, they're kind of like sort of 3D jigsaws. The only rub is, I will tell you, ladies. So they're not all available now. You sort of collect them over the years.
Right.
And as I
Right,
said, the greengrocers was given to me by a dear friend of mine for my 40th. And I never got around to sort of building it. So eventually, when lockdown started, I thought, oh, I'll treat myself to that. And it really does take your mind off things. You know, it is, as I say, like a 3D jigsaw. Anyway, I then Googled it. Had I kept it in the box and not opened it, I would have been 800 British pounds richer.
No! Stick it back in the box.
But the
It's
pleasure
Better
I
for you
got
to
out
have
of it.
Do they have people inside?
There are people, yes, there are.
Going back, glasses on.
In fact, I'll take the roof off this one. Now, this
The roof
one
comes
is
off.
clearly you, Sherrie, stage child, was ever thus. I have a very, 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 I have a ballerina.
That's
yes.
me. And my hair used to be that colour.
Beautiful. That is Sherrie.
Indeed.
Brilliant.
So, yeah. It's good, and it keeps me sort of keeps me sort of taking over. I sort of allow myself to do about an hour a day. I have actually bought another one, and there's the instructions.
Gorgeous.
Oh my goodness!
I know.
And
Did
it
you
really
see-
is you.
Yeah. Did you see the movie, Richard? The Lego movie?
Brilliant. And that's
Wasn't
the
it?
wonderful thing. I mean, the wonderful thing, I've always been, my godsons, and we have one goddaughter who lives in Bristol, but my godsons live quite locally. So it's been brilliant because the eldest now, Arthur, he'll be coming up to 17 soon. But we've sort of grown up through the Lego together, the Doctor Who's, you know, all that sort of thing. So it's been wonderful because I'm lucky enough. I'm silly Uncle Rich, obviously, and I've been as an only child and having no nephews or nieces, it's been fantastic sharing those experiences like the Lego movie or revisiting Star Wars. You know, I mean, I queued for the first Star Wars in 1977
Yeah.
at the Odeon in Andover, which is no longer there, where my Auntie Edith was an usherette.
Oh my God.
The time she let
lovely.
us sit through Greece when, frankly, we were a bit too young to sit through Greece because it counted as babysitting back then.
Wow.
And so it's been great growing up with the lads and going through all those phases again with them. So yeah, the Lego movie we enjoyed, and I must admit we are big Star. Oh, okay, I'll tell you another secret, ladies. So, speaking about being an only child, okay, so I still have a lot of my old toys in the loft. Well, I was in Shoreditch drinking a margarita just for my nerves about 10 years ago, and I saw the Lego Death Star, and I thought, oh my goodness me, that would be amazing. But Arthur, the aforementioned eldest, I thought, oh my goodness me, no. Is he old enough? I think, well, his dad Peter can help him. So I bought him the Lego Death Star, and then had another margarita, which, as you know, swiftly leads on to a picture, ladies. Again, just for my nerves. Was drinking responsibly, as many of you know, I do like to drink for my nerves.
Of course.
And I ended up buying a second Lego Death Star because I couldn't bear the fact that Arthur was going to have one and I couldn't.
No.
Wow.
Awful.
Brilliant.
I love it.
You see,
No.
the thing about these chats, ladies, and I'm sure you're getting this a lot from people tuning in, is they sort of end up being a frank confessional. It's like the bed
They do.
or the seat next to a hospital bed. Whenever someone comes to visit you in
Yes.
hospital,
Yeah.
they feel like they've got to fill the air. So they tell you everything. And when you're on one of these phones, I just feel like I'm talking to my mates, which of course, clearly you are. But you forget
Yes.
yourself sometimes,
But
you know.
that's like being at the hairdressers, Richard.
Yeah.
You know, like you tell your hairdresser everything gynecologically about you.
Please don't
so
talk
they
about
know you
hairdressers.
inside and out. And
Please
that's
don't
just,
talk about hairdressers.
It's
Miss
a
my
therapy
hairdresser.
session, actually. Therapy session.
Yeah.
What else,
Absolutely.
Richard? What else are you doing? Are you doing any interviewing? Are you doing writing? What else are you doing?
I'm still doing my regular Woman's Own column and interviewing there. I'm available
right.
from home for work, so I can sort of zoom into the studio whenever we're doing a broadcast. You know, obviously, as you well know, ladies, there's not a lot of entertainment news going on at the moment. Our industry is not what it was, but we will bounce back. So I do that perhaps maybe once a week at the moment, obviously because the only real story is the pandemic and what we're going through. I signed up to volunteer for the NHS. I'll tell you what I'm also finding is, and I don't know whether you get this, you know, I have a lot of friends actually who live alone, who live in flats, and I'm spending quite a bit of time talking to them. And usually from about sort of 3 o'clock onwards, I always find the TikTok of the 3 o'clock clock. And I'm sure we all know this. If, you know, we're having downtime as turns, or I've been working from home for the best part of 30 years, it's that afternoon lull where you start to overthink things. right?
Yes.
So I always make that point to touch base with friends of mine who live on their own, and we have wonderful chats. You know, we have great chats, and suddenly the hour's gone, isn't it? You know, it's extraordinary.
Exactly.
I know 5 o'clock is mine. When it comes to 5 o'clock, I go into kind of a, now what? You know, what do I do till 6?
Yeah.
You know, it's a very weird feeling, and we're all going through it, aren't we?
We are. 5 o'clock for me is gin. 5 o'clock for me is
well, that's 6
gin
for me, so I have to wait.
So, Richard, have you tried gin and Fever Tree aromatic tonic?
Ooh.
Do you know, funny you should say that.
Have you?
Speaking of aromatics, I try the I go for the cucumber one with a tank.
Oh, I like that.
What I must compliment all of you ladies on is your lighting is amazing. That's another thing that we've become not so much critical, but we've got a glad eye against everybody's surroundings now, because we've got windows into their homes. We are all going through the keyhole, right?
Yes.
But also your lighting is fabulous, and whenever I do these calls, everybody seems to have the right lighting. I am lit by a very fragrant True Grace wild mint candle.
Wow.
It's like Dick Van Winkle.
Gorgeous.
Well, I've got 5 lights, Richard.
Of course,
I'm called Sherrie 5 Lights, look.
She's not just got 5 lights. She's got a wardrobe. She's got makeup. She's got a whole team there.
Do you know one tip that I was given, and I think I may have borrowed it from Tom Ford, is apparently if you put, as you do, if you put a white sheet under the phone, so or wherever, or your computer, a white sheet reflects the light.
Yeah.
Right, I'm off to the linen cupboard.
Thank you. Thank you.
In fact, Richard, you need a white tent. If you have a white tent, go in the white tent and have white everything throughout. That'll do it.
It's great.
I'm going on to Amazon now and ordering a tent, a sheet, everything.
Everything.
I've just got a skylight, but that's it.
Richard, I have to say, I've just had an email from Maggie in Maidenhead, and she said she watches you all the time, big fan, loves your work and you as a presenter, and she said, would you ever consider going into a soap?
Well, yes. Do you know, in a heartbeat. So I did a little cameo in Hollyoaks. Obviously pulled focus brilliantly, even though there was no dialogue at all. And then last year in Neighbours.
Were you fully clothed?
I was fully clothed. Is that what you said? Yeah, just checking, I know. Oh my goodness me. Compared to the cast of Hollyoaks, Harriet, I'd look like a melted candle if I took my top off, so I'm not So I was in Neighbours for one episode last year, which I filmed with Denise Van Outen, and I was a character called Graham, who was a sinister cult leader, and I only had sort of one line, and we filmed it in Hyde Park with Stephen Dennis, who plays Paul, of course, and Denise and I got to know each other very well. We'd met before, but we got to know each other very well when we were doing Strictly back in 2012. And she's a real twinkler, rather like you guys. I mean, to be opposite any of you and try to deliver a line, we'd be there all day. As it turned out, it was much the same with Denise. But I did enjoy it. But this was my thing. Okay, one thing I learned about the acting caper, which many of you, I'm sure, can tell me where I was going wrong. You don't just learn your own lines, apparently. You've got to sort of learn the scene.
Yeah.
There is that, yeah.
You've got to know what they're saying.
Yes, it does help.
Yeah, correct. So that was my only bit. And of course, whenever I fluffed, shall we say, I would stop. I wouldn't wait for the director to call cut, or, you know. So I've learned a lot about that. Yeah, you know, I'm so used to just filling dead air on GMB and trying to get a word in the ears or talking over everyone that I forgot, you know, don't clip my line and stay out of my light.
Yeah, excellent.
Oh, please, Richard, can you come back every day? Can we just have you every day?
I'd love to join you once a week. I mean, I honestly, I love you ladies. I think what you're doing is amazing. And I mean that from the heart, because I know how much those connections are. I mean, I'm 5 weeks away from seeing my mum, who's 82. And I feel terribly guilty because I moved up to London 3 years ago and we've had a wonderful time. But now, of course, she's isolating away from me. But she does have 2 lovely boys who live upstairs, which is great to keep an eye on her.
Yeah,
but yes, I think that it's so important these days to connect, to feel free to be able to say say, do you know what? I know I'm better off than most because I'm not in hospital, and you know, I've got freedom to move around. But it's all right to feel flat, to feel down, because if all you're doing is staying at home and you're not knocking up banana bread or making Lego or doing whatever for the NHS, by staying home, you're doing your bit, right? And so we all need to, we all deserve a pat for that.
Somebody said to me yesterday, you know, all the traumas you go through, and I'm missing everybody, and da-da-da-da-da. And they said, for God's sake, Sherrie, be kind to yourself.
Yes.
And that's what, just remember, be kind to yourself, because we're all suffering.
And Richard, I'm also an only child, and as we're both Arnolds, we could pretend we were brother and sister.
There you go.
Never mind that. I need the press. Debbie, when all this is over, love, I'm going to take you to my mother, obviously wearing gloves and a mask, and literally the big reveal is, finally, I've met the woman who I want to settle down with.
There you go.
We've done the deed.
There's the headline.
Brilliant.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Stay safe. Let's do this again soon. I'm all yours. I'm not going anywhere.
Once a week. We love you.
We will. We'll bring you in. Bye, darling.
Bye. Bye.
Well, you're getting married. My first proposal of lockdown.
Oh, he's wonderful.
Can we be your bridesmaids, please? Can I be flower girl?
Yes.
It will be the first wedding of the nest.
Yes.
Whoa! Flying from the nest.
So exciting.
You'll have to live in a nest nearby, though.
Yeah. He can't live with us.
No.
He can come.
Just up the road bit.
Who is coming Monday? I don't know what to say.
Yes, so Mark Abrahams is coming in. He's called the Funky Vet. Now, the thing is, he's funky, but he's not so funky. He's quite, sassy, because he's been through Parliament to abolish all the puppy farms all over the world. Which is a fantastic thing, isn't it?
And we have another guest as well. We have Stephen Murphy from Inside Soap Magazine, who's going to come in and give us all the goss on all the soaps.
Yay!
Yasmin and Jeff, fabulous.
Fantastic.
Great, love it.
That's fantastic.
So now you have to get your wedding planner for Monday. Start that.
Yes.
Wedding planner.
Absolutely.
God can do my dress.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I've got to design it.
Yes, God can do the dress.
Absolutely.
You know what? I'm going to have the
Will we see each other Monday?
See you Monday. Can't wait to see you. Bye. Here we go. Wedding day.
I'm so happy. Bye.